Thank you very much for the introduction. So I'm James, and this is Henry. So you asked us to come and present about some opportunities the Academy can offer, of course. So we're just going to give an overview of some of the opportunities that are available for NHR from NHR Academy, specifically Career Development Awards, some of the offers we have, and also some of the support we can offer, if that makes sense. So I'm sure you've discussed a lot of this already today, but obviously NHR has a mission in terms of what it does in supporting health and care research. And probably just as relevant today is the third point on the right, where we're talking about attracting and training, supporting the best researchers. But of course, just to be mindful, I know you've heard this already, there are many aspects to NHR which you can offer across health and social care, including, I think we should add as well, global health research and funding and training these days as well. So what do we do at NHR Academy? Well, we offer training and development, and we coordinate that for academic training and clinical research careers, phrases that often use talk about research capacity development. And we manage competitions for training and career development awards. I'll just keep going through the barrows that come up. So we're attracting and training and offering people opportunities, both the patients and public. And obviously what we also want to do, as well as offering these opportunities, is allow people to develop skills to become the health and care researchers to identify, as it says there, solutions to health and care problems. So apologies for the slight dryness, but this is one of the ways we've tried many ways to show the offers in terms of awards that are available from NHR Academy. And we'll just highlight a few of those today. And of course, we can take any questions about anything else. I'm obviously very conscious the audience today is very much around nursing, midwifery, allied health professionals, and other healthcare professions, shall we say. So this slide and this opportunity is also available on our website and obviously in your schemas you've been supplied with. So if we delineate our awards into three levels, shall we say, in terms of what we offer, and as you heard from Ruth earlier today, we have a range going all the way now from undergraduate level, which I think is very exciting and not something we always offered, all the way to established researchers and leaders. And of course, the research must be relevant to health and care. And we've always talked about the aims of being benefit to the patients and public within 5 years of completion of awards. That's a remit we have. And so if we just split that up, we have personal awards, which we'll just describe and outline for a while in terms of offers and awards you can apply for. What we call integrated pathways, which is the team we both work in, which, as it says there, offers academic career pathways for clinical professions, doctors, nurses, AHPs, and increasingly, of course, just as important and relevant, social care practitioners. We also, in NHR, fund a large amount of infrastructure across the country, and all those acronyms we've referred to earlier, you've heard from Ruth, of course, such as BRCs, ARCs, etc. And within those important entities, and I know there's a lot of those, for example, in the Southwest region, we call it infrastructure. There is capacity building funding in there, which also support careers and people to develop within that infrastructure. So that's also an important part of what the Academy does. And we have a whole team that oversees that as well. So I'm not going to read all of this out in detail, but as I'm sure everyone's aware, there's a remit in terms of personal awards and the type of research we're happy to fund. There are other funders available which will fund other types of research, of course, but NHR comes into the space, particularly NHR Academy in terms of funding awards, about early translational research, particularly terms we like to use, clinical and applied health research, social care research as well. But of course, this will all be very, very important for yourselves on the call today in terms of the professions you're in and the aspirations you have. And of course, as we've already shown, there are levels awards going up from undergrad to doctoral level awards to postdoctoral awards as well, all the way to research professorships, and of course other exciting schemes such as 70 at 70 nursing schemes, for example. And we should also just be clear as well as the opportunities around health and care research. NHR is also very happy to support high quality educational research, and also methodological research. These are skill sets and areas that are very important to develop of a health and care system, of course. We deliberately call educational research that name now, and not medical education it was previously, but we are very keen to support research in the areas of all professions, shall we say. And again, if that has practical application and an impact on patients, service users, etc., then that is all very relevant and something we want to encourage. So I'll just outline a few of the personal awards that we have, and I'm going to pass over to Henry. Just to start off with, the first offer we have is fellowships for all. So we have levels going from pre-doctoral all the way up to chair, with names here: pre-doctoral, doctoral, advanced fellowship. The development in skills enhancement, or the DSC, which Ruth talked about earlier, of course, in terms of an opportunity to develop certain skill sets after you've got your PhD, and of course the research professorship. And to be clear, we are very keen for a wide range of professions and diversity to apply for and be successful with a research professorship. We definitely want to see nurses and midwives and other professions being competitive and getting those awards. So I'm not going to read out all the slides in detail. You've got these available, but just to be aware, there are a number of opportunities going through, some of which may be more relevant than others to the audience today. So we have the pre-doctoral fellowship, which is very much about people looking to start careers in certain areas, as it says there: statistics, health economics, clinical trial design, operational research, amongst others. And this basically, like a lot of our offers around pre-doctoral awards, allows master's or master's level training to be supported and funded, as well as your time and your salary to give you time to develop these opportunities. And as it shows examples there, could be a statistician in a clinical trials unit, for example. Like with most of our awards, if you want to apply for a fellowship, it's up to you to make a case as to why you want it. And hopefully this allows you, with mentors and supervisors, particularly at the, we said, the entry levels like this, to have a training program that will suit you and your specific need, shall we say. And as you can see on there is flexibility, as there is with most of our schemes, in terms of offers, in terms of working time equivalent, when you do it, and often fitting it in with other careers, for example, say if you have a practitioner career. And this scheme, for example, just launches in January. We have a doctoral fellowship. We will talk about a further doctoral fellowship as well, specifically designed for your professions, and some of the differences around those. But again, this will fund you doing a PhD or pay salary, allow you to have a training plan, and also make your proposal. Very important, of course, to think about the context of it, particularly aspects such as PPIE, which I know, talking to an audience brought together by an RDS, is of course very much in the mind of everyone. As you can see, we have the assessment criteria laid out there. And to be clear, you are all eligible to apply for this if you want to. This is a scheme that is out there. But you've got another scheme you can apply for, which will come from later in the HEE-NIHR program. So this is the doctoral level. And as you can see, these schemes are now launched twice a year. So this one is available for applications at the moment, and also just under 6 months' time in October. So we do offer this twice a year. We also have our postdoctoral fellowship, which is fairly recently rebadged the advanced fellowship. And again, there's various opportunities there in terms of working time equivalents and what you can do. Obviously, you're becoming more independent here. This can be straight after your PhD to a period of time afterwards. And again, it's open to all professions and non-professions, if you like, clinical and non-clinical. And again, there's flexibility in terms of what can be offered. And again, this is offered twice a year in April and October. I'm just going to pause there, and Henry's going to take over from me and talk about the integrated pathways aspect.
So why the HEE-NIHR? The emphasis on the HEE-NIHR is different to the DFs because, I mean, we care about the need to tap into your practice experience and using that to enhance and improve healthcare delivery. Because there is a body of evidence that organizations which are active in research get to do better in terms of service delivery and improving services. The more people like you, nurses and others who are involved in daily practice and delivery get to be involved in research, you get to shape the trajectory of type of care that we give to our patients and the wider public, and this brings enormous benefits to the wider health sector. So it's specifically designed to enhance research within practice and to keep people like yourselves to continue to balance the two so that we can continue to tap into your experience. So here are some of the HEE-NIHR bodies that is one of the eligibility criteria is that those of you registering for the HEE-NIHR scheme must be registered on one of these bodies, but not as doctors or dentists. And here are some of the professions that, oh, I'll skip that one. Oh, okay. So there's a list in the other presentation, a list of professions just to confirm questions about some people not sure about which bodies they are registered on, but there was another slide which will show the number of those professions that we attract. So under the HEE-NIHR scheme, we also have the pre-doctoral, doctoral, and advanced the HEE-NIHR scheme. So the pre-doctoral basically tries to help develop people at the early career stage to strengthen their research capacity to be able to go further and undertake a doctoral a fellowship. So this PCAF is divided into two. There's the standard PCAF, which you can do for 12 months or 24 months, depending on whether it's part-time. And this basically helps you to undertake a master's level training. And a PCAF bridge, basically somebody with some experience, but just want to be able to put together their DCAF, DCAF application. And this helps you with some support to do that and strengthen your network using your conference meetings, but also at taking some formal courses for you to be able to submit a formal application for the DCAF scheme. DCAF, which is at the heart of the HEE-NIHR scheme, which I manage, and I'm keenly interested in attracting you all to the scheme. And this basically tries to give further weight to people who are interested in research from your professional groups. And we provide funding for salary cost, research, academic training. And one of the difference is that there's a lot of emphasis on your professional training being linked to your practice and making sure that by the time you finish the PhD, it will have enhanced your training. And most people will go on to use their 20% time to either get themselves on some secondment or some deployment in some facilities where they can earn new skills, enhance their practice experience as part of their PhD training, not necessarily within the same organization where they work, because this is where a lot of people sometimes get confused as well as to how they should use the 20% of their clinical practice time for professional development. It will be helpful to use that to enhance your professional development, expand your network also within the field. The scheme is launched also twice a year. The current round is round 3, just launched on the 6th of April. We'll be launching again in September. We also run our interviews in April and November. So the scheme that is launching now in April has just launched in April. We'll be interviewing for in November. And we've just interviewed for the scheme that launched last year in September, yesterday. We just completed the interviews and there are secrets about that I can't mention here. Fingers crossed. We also have the ACAF. This is a postdoctoral scheme for those people who have completed a PhD and wanting to go further and strengthen their leadership in research. This can be taken up between 2 to 5 years, depending on the time that people want to take it up for. and we cover salary, research course, training and development, including conferences. And this is also launched twice a year, April and October. And shortlisting has just taken place yesterday for the current round. So looking forward to more applications from you. So most of the questions we get at times is which scheme people think is suitable for them. As you know, you have more options within your own professions. But the important thing to note is that these schemes are very competitive, and you need to demonstrate a strong research experience and some research. You have a strong research plan as well in place. It would be nice also to talk about some of the things that we get to experience in the interviews, what the panel, the selection committee tend to emphasize, put weight on the type of questions that they ask. And these normally tend to be around the research experience of candidates. We are seeing a lot of emphasis on PPI arrangements, which a lot of applicants tend to ignore the importance of PPI arrangements within the applications, but also supervision teams that people put together. Sometimes this is very, very important, especially for the doctoral scheme, because it's part of the assessment of the selection committee to look at the supervision arrangement in place to take you through the PhD. So it's important to consider some of those. With the professional, the HEE-NIHR scheme, we also have the LAF, which is also a similar scheme, and is also emphasize professional development, but we'll talk about the LAF at another time.